That beat never get old. You feel me? Never gets old, man. Salute to everybody coming in here, man. Make sure to like, share, subscribe to the content. Got a special one here for y'all. Coming up. Did some reflecting. You know what I'm saying? Did some, some research. And I came out, you know what I'm saying? Look, I came out with some information I think would be very useful to y'all, man. Shout out to everybody coming in here, man, though. I wanted to, title the show on why they won, because all we do here is we make championship content, man, and we try our best, you know what I'm saying, to put information out on the air, to bring light to trends, to get back to those glory days here in the modern era, you know what I'm saying, the modern era indeed. And I feel like the best way to understand you, or to understand, what's been happening, with your Cowboys, or the best way to go forward, in my opinion, is always to take a step back and look in the past. I really do. I think this is you cannot, do this enough in going back and taking a look in the past. And I wanted to focus in on, the teams, you know what I'm saying, back last year, and what can we do to replicate what we did today? And I wanted to focus in on Troy Aikman today, man. So without further ado, make sure to like, share, subscribe to the content. Also, let me go back right here. Special announcement right here. Hold on, let me see if I can build this plane while we in the sky. Because I think this is very important here. Let me see. Because I wanted to announce it here, because we're actually doing one of the first raffles today. All right, and let me see if I can show y'all the picture right now. Let's see, there it is right there. All right, yes, look at that, look at Lou. All right, so we're gonna be doing like a raffle series, right? I got some gift cards I'm trying to give away and give back to the community for thank y'all for supporting me on this journey and everything like that. So I got, we're gonna have 9 different raffles of that. I got some good gifts right here for y'all. Like, it ain't no, you know what I'm saying, Rudy? I'm talking about ranging from $10 all the way to $50 in terms of gift cards and everything like that. Y'all can win for y'all family. What you can take your family to the movies when Fandango, Domino's, feed y'all for a little bit, maybe on a Friday night or anything like that, and Top Golf. You feel me? So we're gonna do one of the spins today of all the entries that we've been doing since the beginning of May, like I said, and I'm gonna announce the winner, everything like that, and then y'all can come to the the winner will have to DM me so I can connect with them on X, so I can give them all the information they need to redeem everything like that. But I think these some very good gifts, and this is the start of doing something, what I'm saying, on a regular basis. You feel me? So like, yeah, I'm very interested. I'm very excited to do this, because it's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool, man. This thing ain't gonna want to work. All right, but without further ado, let's see. That's not it. This one. We can move that out the way. Let's get into the research I wanted to do right here. All right. So I wanted to first focus in on Dak Prescott versus Troy Aikman. I wanted to figure out. I watched a ton of games. I'm gonna tell you right now. I didn't watch a ton of games of. And I'm talking about the full games, like of the 90s Cowboys. Just I wanted to be immersed in there, and like what happened, what was the reasons why. I'm gonna read y'all the games that I watch. I watch the 92 NFC Championship game versus San Fran. Okay. Hold on. Keep that right there so I can continue. I can read out because I wrote it down. I watched the Super Bowl 27, the one versus, because we faced the Bills multiple times. The Super Bowl where we forced like a record number of fumbles. I watched us versus the 94 Browns. That was Bill Belichick's one of his first years coaching. That was his team. I watched us the 98 version of us versus the Cardinals. It was a comeback win we gave up. Just watching that, how they did in that game. I watched the key game, the marquee game of us, that Thanksgiving game versus Marty Schottenheimer, full game. And then I just got through watching us. It was 94, I believe, versus the Lions. Barry Sanders versus, Emmett, that game. So like, I'm just giving you a sneak peek on to like what the games I was keying in on, what I was looking for, and the takeaways, and I'm gonna help measure out what worked in that year and what the Dallas Cowboys can do going forward currently to emulate it. Because I think a lot of things get lost in between the weeds of them years, and we kind of underrate some things that kind of happen. We kind of overrate some things that kind of happen. And that's what happens when you do nostalgia. And I'm just going to give you based off what I saw from the sample size I watched multiple years and the common themes I came away from and that I believe that I need the Dallas Cowboys to do to begin it. The first thing first, the reason why it brought me to this on me bringing this up is because first I wanted to highlight Troy Aikman and compared to that era. And because, like I got on the thumbnail, because I think a lot of people, I want to, illustrate today, a lot of people like question Dak Prescott and his ability to be the quarterback, to be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. But I'm going to, we're going to highlight Troy Aikman and that entire team. And hopefully I can help illustrate to y'all, like, why we are on the right trajectory and why, like, a lot of those narratives that they bring up today about Dak is actually false. So for one, I looked up some of the top quarterbacks of the 80s and the 90s compared to Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman was not one of the best quarterbacks of that era. He was up there at the top, but when it came to being the best, and I'm seeing this live. I'm seeing this in living color. Like, watching back the full games. When you watch Joe Montana was special. Montana was special. And he had some great years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a clear difference between Joe Montana and what he was doing with those Niners teams in the 80s, the late 80s. And then I also didn't know, I gotta scratch that, Joe Montana also quarterback for Marty Schottenheimer for 2 years. Matter of fact, his last 2 years of his career was with Marty Schottenheimer, with Joe Montana. And he had like one more year where he threw for like 3,700, like his very last year. He went out, in my opinion, I think he had like a 15 season career. He went out on a high note with Papa Shotty. You know what I'm saying? Then I got Steve Young. So Joe Montana, he's a 4-time Super Bowl champion. We should already know that. Niners. The very next quarterback to the Niners they went from great quarterback to the next quarterback to another great quarterback. Steve Young, who is now on, like, from a natural standpoint of Joe Montana, but he was still very talented. You watch him, a little bit of a dual threat to his game, very slippery. He can run with the ball and everything like that, but I didn't think he had enough touch as a Joe Montana, and also the stats doesn't match it as well. But Steve Young was still one of the great quarterbacks in those eras. Then you got John Elway, who's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He couldn't get over the hump until they put a solidified run defense in there. Shout out to Henny in the building, my bad. He said Troy never won a playoff game where his defense gave up 30 points, FYI. We gonna go into that deeper because I like me watching them games. I watched like 9 games of them great teams and seeing Troy Aikman play. I don't want to be mean what I saw with Troy Aikman, but all I'm saying is, if that's the measure of what we need from our quarterback play in order to win a Super Bowl, we got more than enough with Dak. And I'm gonna get into it more on the reason why, and I'm gonna get into what Troy Aikman had that Dak doesn't have that he needs to get better at, so he can get to that level and he can help, be ready for the moment. Brett Favre came in at the end of the 90s, 3-time NFL, MVP. This is going in. We should already know Dan Marino, back when the passing offense was being revolutionized. Dan Marino was one of the great quarterbacks behind it. And then you got Troy Aikman, and honestly, Jim Kelly. I wouldn't be mad if you put Jim Kelly above Troy Aikman. I honestly would not. These are 8 quarterbacks from the 80s and the 90s era, I would not be surprised if Troy Aikman was number 8, behind even a Warren Moon, behind even a Jim Kelly. What I'm trying to illustrate for y'all is Troy Aikman. He was great for us, but when it comes back to revisionist history and compare him back to his ability, more than just stats, just watching him, there were quarterbacks that were better than Troy Aikman, but yet it was enough to for us to win the Super Bowl. So let me go to the next one right here. This is very important because this is why I want to highlight and I want to say that what we have in Dak versus a Troy Aikman is more than enough. It's more than enough. Yes, I know the eras are completely different. The amount of attempts that, it's more of a passing league than it ever was than the 90s. I will kind of give it to you for the Dallas Cowboys sense, but I'm not going to give it to you for the entire football sense. Because honestly, went back and watched some film on other teams like a Montana, like even a Dan Marino. Hey, they were definitely slinging that thing. Even in LA, they were slinging that thing. And they had enough, like, in terms of like volume that would even match something that what Dak Prescott's even doing today. But if we was to go back, just comparing the numbers, completion percentage, passing yards, passing touchdowns, interceptions, touchdown ratio, passer rating, Dak is blowing Troy Aikman out of the water in terms of just gifted ability for the quarterback position. Just gifted ability for the quarterback position. Dak's career is not even done, and he's already surpassed Troy Aikman in terms of passing yards. To put it in perspective, Troy Aikman ended his career with 32,942 passing yards. Montana doubled that. That's what made Montana one of the great quarterbacks ever. I was out, bro. It was insane. Hold on, let me. I'm gonna read y'all the exact number of Montana, bro. Like, it's pretty insane what Montana ended with on his career in terms of just stats. Hold on. That's I'm talking about. That's rushing. I'm talking about passing. Why they got fantasy stats? All right, where's the yards? Here we go. Passing. And yards. Yeah, and so here it is right here. Honestly, can I show it to y'all? Let me see if I can build this plane in the sky and try to show it to y'all right quick. Honest with you, so y'all can see that. This is so y'all can say this is Montana. This is Joe Montana. This is the page right here. Shout out to Pro Football Reference. I use this a lot. Joe Montana in his 15 years had 40,000 passing yards. 40,000 passing yards in his 15-year career. Like, I'm talking about, he was going absolutely insane. Like 87, he had 31 touchdowns. That's like, for that standard, that's insane. 89, 26, you know what I'm saying? Let me look up Troy Aikman. I'm gonna do it right here on the spot for y'all. Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman had a 12-year career. He ended up with 3,200. You know what I'm saying? He had some great years in there. He had a year with 3,300, 3,100, 3,400, 92, 93. You know what I'm saying? 26. He had solid stats in his years, man. You know what I'm saying? But look at the touchdowns. Like it's a big. Like Montana was getting what they had years of 31 and 26. Troy's best year was. I'm looking at interceptions. Hold on. Troy's best year was 16 in 95, or then 19 and 97. You know what I'm saying? It's not even close. You know what I'm saying? I'm just comparing Troy to his era and why this is important. Let me go back here. So we have to ask the question: if we already can, like, I'm trying to illustrate that Dak's talent is more than enough compared to what the Cowboys had in the Super Bowl years with Troy versus Dak. What is the difference? What were the difference in like the Dallas Cowboys winning in those years compared to now? Like, what is the what is the difference between what they did back in the day in the 90s and what Dak is doing now? Because I want to lay it out before like I can illustrate it out. Shout out to Dwayne Morris. He said Dak and Troy ran two different styles of offense. Both ran high power offenses, but Troy's was more power oriented offenses. I would say the offense that I would give you that's completely different in Troy is McCarthy. Because McCarthy is West Coast style, so it's more passing oriented. But the early years of Dak, and we can look up Dak real quick. Early years of Dak was in a very similar offense. Remember with the Zeke years, the pro style lineup. We was running it. You know what I'm saying? And even in those years, look at that. He still had 3,600 yards. That's 2016. And remember, we are toting that thing. You know what I'm saying? In 2017, 3,300 yards. All right. 2019, okay, I'll give you Kellen Moore was more passing oriented. Like Dak had a year almost 5,000 yards passing, which is insane. But 30 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like Dak's worst year, okay, that was the hurt year. I'm talking about the worst year when he actually finished playing. 2024, where he had under 2,000 yards passed, but he nope, that don't count either because he got hurt that year too. Like probably his worst year. 2022, did he finish that year? I would say 2020 was probably his worst year because he only had 2,800 and he had 15 interceptions. This is why everybody like that interceptions myth is a big myth. Like Dak doesn't really turn over the ball. You know what I'm saying? And then he had 4,500 last year. So I understand like there's a different era of quarterback like systems and everything like that. But even in his systems, if because I watched the game, Dwayne, I watched some of these games, man, and Troy could have easily had way more stats than what he had. It was times Troy's best attribute. I'm gonna tell you right now, what was his best attribute? That what made him a great quarterback. He was a hellified manager. He was a hellified game manager. Probably one of the best game managers you'll probably see. I think probably the best game manager is Brady. Troy did enough to not F up what we had. Troy knew when to let everyone on the offense when it was time for somebody else to shine. Troy, like, in terms of using his teammates, that's the one thing I think Troy does a lot better than Dak. Like, when it was time to give it to Novacek, he let Novacek, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it was time to check it down to Emmett, he let Emmett, and he chose his deep balls very methodically. You know what I'm saying? He let the flow of the game dictate him and let that go. So, like, we weren't just, even though Alvin Harper, he was a big X receiver, really reminds me of like a bigger Michael Gallup mixed with a little bit of Pickens, but he ain't quite as talented as Pickens. When it was time to throw up a go ball to Alvin Harper, we weren't finna just spam it. You know what I'm saying? He let the Florida offense go. He let the system go. Let Emmett whoop up on their front. Let the offensive line lean up against him a little bit. Check it down and overcheck, and then we're gonna take our shot. Or then he'll give a good little slant. You know, a good little I call them hospital balls. That was Michael Irvin's greatest. He probably the best hospital ball catching receiver of all time. Cause that was all that Troy Aikman was throwing at him. Straight hospital balls, like them tight window slants, them skinny posts. That's what he loved throwing to Michael. You know what I'm saying? He threw a bunch of hospital balls all day to Michael Irvin. But my point is, like, he didn't. I would say Troy. He didn't get too high and he didn't get too low. He maintained. That was his superpower. Maintaining and coming back. Now it was times, and when I'm saying like he could have more, like it's like, bro, like he'll be in the end zone, he'll throw like a damn bullet. I'm like, bro, y'all 5 yards away, and he trying to sneak in another hospital ball in there. You can tell, but you know what I'm saying, like that was with Troy. Yeah, Amp, shout out Amp in the building. Them clothesline balls, he loved throwing. The amount of, like, I'm talking about, we in the thick of the game versus the Niners. Game on the line, we throwing that. Boy, he loved throwing that little slant. He'll put it right there. He'll put it in the right place. Him and Michael Irvin's connection, or like a Novacek connection, or even, you know, checking it down to Johnston. He'll put it right there where they can catch it. But I think where Troy did, him versus a Montana, or him versus what's my guy? And, you know, let me put up this right here. Him versus a Steve Young or Elway is the touch. I don't think he had a touch like them. Like, when I'm watching a game, there's never the ball where I never seen many breadbasket throws from him. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the difference between, or when he'll be in the red zone here, he didn't know how to take the heat off the ball right here and still make it on time. You can tell that he was a system quarterback. And it was best he didn't do that. And that's why, like, to be honest or not, like, he was a hell of a leader, but in terms of replacing, having another quarterback to do what they did, he is one of the triplets, and I'll give him his respect for it. But what he did in terms of, like, his ability that he brought to the table, that's why it didn't surprise me of that run they had with a backup quarterback before the dynasty ever started. Look, the Cowboys built a system where they can definitely drag the quarterback along the way, and that gets into my next point of the Dallas Cowboys and what made them so great back in the day. And I wanted to highlight it. Let me just make sure. I want to highlight this point first. The one thing that I saw from them teams from the 90s, what made me like, bruh, if I was watching these games, like, yeah, I would have had that look in my eye, like, yeah, they look special. They playing on it. You can tell the championship teams or how they playing. And I was watching more than just the Cowboys too, other era. Like, I was watching, I turned on some Buccaneers games from the 2000s. I was watching some of them Chiefs games with Marty. I was turning on all those top teams. You know, I was watching some Bills games. Those top teams, you can tell is the common thing today. You can tell that they're a contender because the entire team is on go. The entire team is just rolling. And that's the one thing I think we're missing on this current Cowboys team. Everyone was a playmaker. Everyone. I'm watching the game. You watching the floor of the game. Okay. Aikman may make a mistake here, right? He may throw a pick right here, you know, a little sailor ball into the, to the Steelers. They get, they get a little interception. They call it back. Defense coming onto the field, and defense is looking like, you look at Ken Norton Jr. or Kevin Smith, who I met, by the way, or Darren Smith. They looking dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, y'all may check it down. Y'all may have a little more momentum, but you better hold on to that ball. That's the one thing. But they know how to force that defense right there. They were hounding everybody on that defense. It was more than just see when people talk about the nostalgia of their defense in the 90s, all they mentioned was Charles Haley. Charles Haley, You know what I'm saying? When we got Dion, then it's Dion. They didn't talk about how no one ever talks about how the other guys, they were balling. Like I'm talking about, they would step up and making plays. Like in the NFC Championship game, I don't know if it was him. It was one of them cornerbacks. I think it was Larry Brown. I think he got like 2 picks. Just balling, playing out of control. You know what I'm saying? Or like they don't talk about how the deep. We had a stout ass run defense, bro. With Jeff Colt, with who I just named 94. You know what I'm saying? With Russell Maryland, with Leon Lett, they shut down Thurman Thomas in that Super Bowl. Completely shut his ass down. Matter of fact, I'm watching the game and the broadcast. It was Thurman Thomas versus Emmett. Like Emmett was a household name, but Thurman Thomas was like, okay, they expecting Thurman to run all over us. You know what I'm saying? But it was really Emmett running all over them. And this defense right here, we had some hitters, bro. We just had hitters. I'm talking about all game long. I'm talking about on kickoff. I'm talking about on special teams. They were hounding you, bro. You felt it. You felt that defense. Like Jimmy, and I wish I would have had the D coordinator's name. Y'all was in who the D coordinators during that time. They had them MFs playing. Everybody on that deep, and I'm not even mentioning Washington in the secondary. Like I'm talking about, like they was out there hounding. The only time I saw, and I was watching throughout the games, the seasons, the only time I saw the defense like they looked like regular people is when they was facing a superhuman. You had to be a superhuman. So like the one game when I watched them versus the Lions, Barry Sanders made everybody in the NFL look goofy. You can see they was there, but Barry Sanders he was literally like, y'all know them NFL players that they hand be touched by God. You know what I'm saying? Now you can tell they were touched by God and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only time I saw it. Or versus in the NFC Championship game where there'll be times, okay, before we got to Dion, okay, Jerry Rice was definitely giving us problems. Or okay, like this is a high stakes games. Ricky Waters is going crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's churning it out. He ain't having like a Hall of Fame game, but he's churning it out. He's becoming a problem. But guess what? It'd be times where they'll bend, but somebody come up. Like it'd be Ken Norton come up, come get a strip sack, or come strip the ball away from Ricky Waters. Like, you know what I'm saying? like, or it'll be like a Kevin Smith or my other guy at corner. They'll make a big time interception. That I think we're missing that today. Too many times, I think, because I'm watching the teams now. It was even with me knowing the result, I just had this subconscious thing in my mind, like, oh shit, the Cowboys are cowboying again. Like I'm watching the 90s game, like, oh, the Cowboys are cowboying again, even though I know they're gonna win this game. But then you watching in the game, like, okay, you saw that Cowboy won a Cowboy moment, but did you saw this team block in and say, hey man, fuck no, we finna knock their ass out. Like it just being like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we shake it up. I saw a team that didn't hold their head down once a mistake was fouled. No, they was like, okay, they got a fumble. We finna get the fumble right back. We finna get it right back. And we're gonna keep playing. We're gonna keep playing. You know what I'm saying? And they kept coming. They didn't stop. They didn't. It was you can tell the main difference between these teams was mentality. They were just mentally tough. I think the biggest thing, the Cowboys, of what we do today. Yeah, let me put the camera on me so I can say this. It's too many times where something happens, and y'all, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm talking about the modern day Cowboys. When something happens, you can tell that the people on the field, players included, stars or not, be looking to another star or bigger stars to make a play. When I say that was pretty much the opposite when I was watching these games, I'm talking about the higher stakes I'm watching. Okay, Aikman throw a pick. So naturally in my mind, because I'm trained, because I'm watching the modern day Cowboys, I'm like, Charles Haley gotta make a play. It'll be Darren Smith make a play. What? I'm not used to this. I'm not used to if Dak make a mistake, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to name somebody on that defense. Like, I don't know. LVE finna go get a strip sack. We finna blitz him, we gonna get a strip sack. Or if Dak make a mistake, trying to name our safeties. We got Donovan Wilson. They're finna go take Kittle head off and lay a ooh-wee hit that wakes up the entire sideline in a divisional playoff game. I think that's what we're missing. We have, and it's the what is it, environment we have bred here. It starts from up top. I firmly believe the reason why we're like this is because of the top. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because of one thing I'm seeing differently from me watching the games now and watching now, I saw a hungrier Jerry. I'm not even talking about in moves. I saw a Jerry, he had that hunger in his eyes, younger, on the sidelines. And when he was hungrier, the one thing I'm correlating now, I don't see that same hunger today. So that hunger is not translating down. What I see today is a Jerry, honestly, who's full, honestly, who over glorifies when he pays a player that, hey, that's the star. Like, that's what I see today, the main difference of what happened in those great years. The stars of the 90s were put on a pedestal, but everybody underneath felt like they can make a play and be on that same. They didn't look. I didn't see on that team them looking for 22, looking for 88, looking for 94, and then in the later years with Barry Switzer looking for 21 to save us. I think that's the main difference between those championship and what we're building right now. And I think that's the heart of what's wrong with us right now. Too many times in the biggest moments, when something happens, they look to 4. They look to, when he was here, 11. They was looking to 7 when he was here. On the highest amount, looking to 26 to make a play. They were looking to, right now, number 3. Or they were looking to, they were looking for that splash play. They were looking for, okay, are y'all ready? Stars? It's like, come on, Stars, hit me. It's like they're treating their enthusiasm and the nastiness of this game like a drug, and they're waiting for the Stars to hit them with it, and they'll get up and then they'll go back down like, oh, I need you to hit me again. Like I need you to do that play again. I need you to make that catch again. 88 CD Lamb. I need you to, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, you fanning like us. That's the main difference right here. I'm gonna tell you right now. I wish I can play them games. One day, we're going to probably go to Twitch or something, and we're going to sit back and just watch them games. We're going to take 3 hours, a whole week, day after day after day. I can show you what I'm seeing. When I tell you, when something happens, I don't want to say they want to look into Emmett. The old line up front saying, bruh, okay, we threw a pick. I'm finna kill, like, Stepnoski, you know what I'm saying? Nate Newton and Larry Allen, they was like, all right, okay, well, we got the ball back. Like, we threw a pick now, defense on the field, but guess what? I'm finna go and murder. You know what I'm saying? Legally, YouTube, please don't like me. I'm finna go out here and absolutely maul my guy in front of me. If Emmett see this hole, oh well. But guess what? I'm going to kill, metaphorically, this dude right here in front of me. We in the Super Bowl. Oh, Bruce Smith. Oh, Buffalo Bills. Oh, he had 12 sacks on the season. Our left tackle said, you put your pants on just like me. You're not going to touch Troy Aikman. I'm literally putting it, you may not know my name, but you're going to remember my name after this damn Super Bowl when we're holding this Lombardi up. That's what I saw. That's what I saw, man, when I turned on them games. Everybody felt like they can go make the play. And it was so unselfish, too. John Novacek, bruh, dog. I'll tell you right now, that's the first position we need to upgrade. If we trying to run the ball, him and Daryl Johnston was absolutely folding shit when it came to running the ball. We had already a gangsta-ass offensive line. When you had them two white boys, they was knocking shit out. And Emmett was just a very efficient runner. Hard to talk, hard to tackle, making it hard, stopping on a dime, going through holes and everything like that. Knowing when to bring the power, knowing when to bring the speed. Just, I'm right now, I appreciate Emmett more. I know a lot of people, when they pull up the highlights, it's easy to say like, oh, Barry Sanders, Emmett ain't up there. He just had a great size all line. Nah, bro. Emmett, they're like, because there was a difference when they put that backup runner back in there. There was a difference. Giant ass difference, bro. And it probably made a difference if it was another running back behind us. You know what I'm saying? Like, Emmett was like a reliable engine that if you didn't stop as the opposing team, it will open the entire can of whoop ass on you. Because if you couldn't stop the run game, the play action was coming behind it. Novacek would gut your ass. And if Novacek is gutting your ass, okay, 88 is finna F you up. Michael Irvin. You know what I'm saying? Michael Irvin. I was watching, there was a game versus him, one of the early games of them versus the Steelers. I forgot to add that to the list of games that I was watching. That's game like number 11 I watched was them versus the Steelers. I'm blanking on what year. Let me see. Let me pull up, because I got the history right here. Let me pull up my history real quick of what year it was. Because it was like one of the first years. 94, it was week 1. That's what I was watching, week 1. I don't know who that cornerback was for Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh, they had a stout ass defense too. This is around the time that Devin Lloyd was one of their marquee guys. I'm blanking on who that DB was. He got his ass absolutely fried by weapons. Michael Irvin went off for like 128 by the third quarter, and then Alvin Harper already had like two big. Alvin Harper was literally like a big threat, big play receiver. I can really tell. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that game right there, it really showed him. So let me what was this one right here? This before we get into the dynasty formula, let me first let's hear a word from our sponsors real quick and PrizePicks. Let's take a break. And we're gonna put in these lineups real quick. WNBA and the World Cup is going right now as well, but we're gonna put in some because I know we know a little bit more about the WNBA right here. They got Angel Reese versus what is this, Golden State, the Valkyrie. 9.5 points. I'm gonna go the over on that. You feel me? And then let me see somebody else. Asia Wilson, 38.5. It's a lot. Guess what? I'm gonna still go to over. I'm feeling lucky today. You feel me? We feeling lucky. Shout out to that. For more information on PrizePicks, just like that, you just saw we just submitted that lineup. Feeling lucky today. You know what I'm saying? For more information, man, click the link in the description down below. Shout out to PrizePicks and everything like that. Now, getting back to the video. You feel me? All right, here he is right here. All right. Right. You hold on. Let me see some of y'all before we talk about it. Mason said, bro, I had my laptop responding. You were right on the nice teams. They was, yes, man. That's the biggest thing I can tell you right now. You said it. Those 90s teams were together. They were a team. That's probably the best thing Jimmy Johnson ever did, was the amount of times they were a team out there and they were just unafraid. Just notice a giant issue that they have with this graphic. And that's the flaws of the AI, man. See right now. He said the shift in Jerry began when Switzer got there. It probably was after he left, because when Switzer was there, that's when Jerry was gangster, and that's when he actually took Dion. I gotta give him credit for that. But I can definitely tell, if that was any inflection point we should highlight, it's probably that. You're probably right on the money with that one. Let me go full screen while I read this, and I could catch up on y'all messages and everything like that. The new generation mad. I get it. Y'all have never seen a Super Bowl. I know how y'all feel. Yeah, bro. Bruce Smith wasn't a factor in those games. He sure wasn't. He was getting hemmed up in that game. Matter of fact, all them the Bills, they laid a dud, and they was a dangerous ass team too. But they laid a dud in them Super Bowls. I'm talking the Super Bowl I watched. I think it was 27. We set a record for the most turnovers ever created in that game. Like, and it was like I want to say like 2 of them was only interceptions. It was the same, but most of them, bro, it was like 6 fumbles. It was like 6 fumbles. Everybody, I'm talking about, they just hacking at the ball, just going crazy, man. Matter of fact, that was the game Leon lit. That boy wore my 78. That boy had a touchdown in the end, man. And that boy got caught from behind celebrating too early. I know he was mad. I've been mad as hell, especially they was just going crazy, man, going crazy. You know what I'm saying? On that. Okay. So, let me see. Just doing this real quick, because if y'all don't know, we are. Let me show this, because I think a lot of people are in here right now. I am doing a raffle. We're gonna do 1 spin today, but we're going to. I got 9. We're gonna have 9 different raffles. Got them all right here. Spanning up. $5 equals an entry. Super chat, cash up, and everything like that. We're gonna spin today. For the first winner. And the winner is going, I need y'all to, whenever you win, DM me on Twitter and I'll send you the information of these gift cards. I got gift cards. I'm talking about, I ain't gonna tell y'all which one it is, but I got $50 we're gonna give away. We got 25, you know what I'm saying? And we got $10 ones. Right now, if you don't know Fandango, that's the movie site. So we can send y'all to the movie. Somebody can win some movie tickets. Somebody gonna win some food. Hey man, a good little piece of and it's Friday. You know what I'm saying? And a Top Golf, you know what I'm saying, date for whoever y'all. Hey, go be Tiger Woo for me. Go be Tiger Woo for me. We're gonna do that. There's gonna be 1 today. I'm gonna see which one we're gonna raffle off, but we are gonna be giving a combination of one card from one of these guys, and right here, and y'all gonna know the amount on these cards and everything like that. But yeah, make sure to enter the raffle, man. All right, so going back to finishing up, so. Okay, so ignore the pictures, because I just realized it was wrong. So for the Dynasty formula, I put into pillars for probably to simplify it, to do a little I would say like check to see like how much of this does the Dallas Cowboys currently have? Like, how much are we there? Like, are we close? What are we, Lou? So, one, in terms of the quarterback, I know Dak Prescott is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott is good enough to win the Super Bowl. That's number one. You have that. Check. Number two is a defense. When I say I really should have defense number one, I am not lying. Because the one key thing I want to illustrate and tell y'all about those 90s teams that they did not, the one area they never lacked and was probably the key in the key engine behind that was having a defense. Because a defense will always travel. A defense will always travel, man. From the cold winters when you got to travel to, you got to play Buffalo, or when you got to go play Philly, or when you got to go, even into the summers when you got to go play a San Fran, Miami, whoever it may be. The one constant I would tell you that never changed and was always there, and it's going to be there for when the game gets too high or when the game gets too low. The one constant, I'm going to tell you that if we don't have more than anything else, hold on, I got the right graphic right here. Because this one is actually bothering me. It's a defense, okay? My bad, I'm adding this in because this picture right here is bothering me. I want to have it right, you feel me, for y'all. Building a plane, walking in the sky, boom, right there. Oh, it's all good. All right, it's right here. There it is. There's a defense right there. I got the right person in there. You said Hall of Fame Rod Woodson. And see, that's the thing. Like, that's the one thing I've been fighting for getting into this defense is getting more playmakers to this defense. Getting more. It's going to take you investing into the defense. I talked about all the guys who were pretty much, no names. I don't want to say no names, but they're not household names, but they still play up there. But they were all, I would say, like, foundation at the heart of that was our staples that we had in this. That was the key of building a dynasty. So we didn't get over the hump until you got a Charles Haley. Let me tell you right now about this, and this devalued. This is why Charles Haley is important, because I've been seeing a theme with this. Okay, I've been seeing a theme, been going around online talking about that. Pass rush doesn't matter. What I'm saying, D tackles matter more. Whatever it may be, I want to be like Seattle. Y'all know what side I'm on, or everything like that. The one thing I will tell you that was very important in them Super Bowls was having a consistent pass rush. That pass rush was a momentum changer and a momentum multiplier. Charles Haley and his sacks at crucial moments, he was so crucial because he kept teams, they had to honor him and literally run into the trap we had on our defense, which is our run defense. But you saw how I just went over how great our run defense was in the 90s. They shut down a Thurman Thomas. Completely shut him down. I'm talking about by halfway in the game, he only had about 40 yards. And he had about 20 carries. Like, they literally put the side-by-side up of him versus Emmett. Emmett had 117 yards. Thurman only had like 40. But it doesn't happen without the threat of a Charles Haley, because guess what? They had a Jim Kelly at quarterback, and they were trying to pass the ball. And when they couldn't run the ball, and they tried to go in the air and throw it with Jim Kelly, you had your ears pinned back of a Charles Haley getting after him. You had a Jeff Coat, pressing back the tackles. You know what I'm saying? You had a Leon Lett ready, pinning their ears back. You was blitzing a Devin Harper. You know what I'm saying? You had a more aggressive secondary because you had a gangster ass pass rush. Rod Woodson, one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the greats. What made this defense hit another gear, and I think of all the people who saw it, saw that defense in live action and living color, was when we added the layer of a Charles Haley, that added folded layer of Charles Haley, it made our defense more dangerous, like way more dangerous than it could be. You know what I'm saying? Or didn't what it was. You know what I'm saying? And so that's number 2, which really you can argue is probably number 1 in the defense. We have to get a defense that can travel, that's filled with playmakers, and they all are in one accord, right, Nigel? Charles Haley was the key that unlocked the lethality of that defense, because his constant pressure, it was very constant. The times where they forgot to block him on a PA rollout, and he's right there. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't stop. And he also contributed in the run defense as well. He was that attitude that they brought to that defense. Like, it was very key right there. So we need a defense. We will know this year if we're building a defense that it doesn't necessarily have be the equivalent of like the 90s, because I know that 90s defense was the right word was the final. It was really missing one piece in the Charles Haley, and it finally unlocked. I think we're like that right now, but we're going to see how good the foundation really is, because even though Charles Haley unlocked the defense, the other additions of like I just said, like in a Ken Norton and a Larry Brown and a Kevin Smith and a Darren Smith all being there. Then you have a Leon Lett. Then you have you know what I'm saying? Like, you had a Washington as one of the safeties. You had a Jeffcoat. You had a former number 1 overall pick in Russell Maryland. All that being your foundation, and then you put that nice cherry on top that made you that more lethal. So you know what I'm saying? So I would say this year is going to be a great, benchmark and testing to see, do we have a good defense that's great enough to be similar to a Charles Haley list or pre-Charles Haley Cowboys defense? And if we still need a Charles Haley defense on this current defense to be Super Bowl caliber, you know what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, I think you're gonna need that on the edge. I really am, because a lot of the former Super Bowl champions of this year had great pass rushes. Hold on, why are you calling me? Hold on. I had it up right here. Hold on. So like Seattle won last year. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me show this. Let me show it to y'all. Here it goes. All right. You know the ads. Hate ads. ESPN. Seattle won last year. Seattle was actually one of the top pass rushing teams in the league. A lot of people wanted to copy their committee approach, but the committee today is worth $150 million. Philadelphia whooped the snot out of Kansas City. The absolute snot out of Kansas City. What people don't understand is Philadelphia had a top 10, top 5 passing defense. They did. Kansas City, same thing. Kansas City both years, when they beat San Fran and when they beat Philadelphia. Do I need to even mention the Rams year when the Rams won the Super Bowl in 2022? Like when they actually traded for Von Miller in that year. They actually, they had Jalen Ramsey and already had a, what's the name? Hold on. Yo. What's up? Hold on, I'm live right now. Okay, let me call you right back. All right. Hold on, let me call my brother back. My bad, y'all. Hold on. You think you have something about this raffle? Make sure we got it right. Yeah, what you calling about? Oh, I can show it. Okay, hold on. Let me check it out. Let me make sure it works so we can show it on Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I can spin it live. Let me see if it works on my phone. Hold on. Yeah, like hold on, but let me check, make sure it worked though. Hold on. I don't think are these the same names? I think these are different names. These are more randomized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so you didn't put the full URL? That's a damn thing. Okay, let me try to copy and then put the real URL and see if that worked. Hold on. Let me go to my my browser real quick and see if that URL is not copying for some reason. You're gonna have to just spin it and just send me the result because I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah. All right. Oh, you emailed me to. I don't. Wait. Which email? Yeah, I ain't seen the email just yet. Let me get off the phone. Maybe. Okay, I just got it. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's it right there. Boom. All right. All right, we ready for the raffle. Let me huh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a long link. So we're gonna do what we need to do to get it up and running. But it's all good. Yeah. Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. All right. All right, we up and running. Let me see. Y'all good? All right. My bad. I was getting everything ready in order because we're doing a raffle today. Yeah, and we got all the entries. If of everybody who did it in the past, since May 1st, originally when I do it, and while I'm building this up here, I'm gonna put it up here so y'all can know it again because we're doing 9 different raffles though, of prizes of every of multiple. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna be a multiple. What's the name? You know what I'm saying? So listen, we trying to get back. Appreciate y'all to the community, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, like y'all dog. Yeah, we lit. We got this thing on. But let me finish this before we do the raffle because we're gonna enter. Cause I'm gonna finish this what I've got going on that and everything like that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the content, man. So you know, man. So I had to go live today because the main thing I wanted to do was the raffle. I because I've been holding off on it too long, and it just made sense. All right, now going back to this. So I talked about how both them Kansas City years they had great pass rushes. They did. The Rams in the year, that's the whole reason why people forgot one of the marquee moves they made was trading for and adding a younger Von Miller that actually contributed to the team. What people don't realize in the years before with Kansas City, when they faced Tampa Bay, and the reason why what absolutely whooped Tampa Bay and made Tampa Tampa Bay whooped Kansas City and knocked Kansas City right into developing their O-line. Why did they have to develop their O-line? It's because Tampa Bay had a hell of a pass rush, man. A hell of a pass rush. But they had a dude the year before, he got 16 and a half sacks. And Shaq Thompson, I think was his name. And they had a stout-ass run defense. Kansas City, who beat, when they started their little run, I don't want to call it a dynasty, but shit, they've been winning this. They didn't like it. They had, you know what I'm saying, a good little pass rush. Same thing with the New England when they beat the Los Angeles Rams. This was the last championship that New England won with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady did not do a damn thing in that Super Bowl. That was all the defense. So you tell me if they had a pass rush or not, because that was a high power offense of the Rams that year. That was the year I think the Rams were setting all those records in terms of this was around the birth of the passing era, and the New England defense completely shut that down. And this is the Philadelphia year when they won. This is their very first Super Bowl, very ugly ass year, but I think they broke the literal record in terms of sacks this year. Okay, and same thing go forth with New England. They had a very stout defense. This is the famous 28-3 year. They had a top pass rush in this year as well, because they would not be able to make that comeback without it. And this is the last official year that people want to get credit for this fake narrative of edge rushers don't matter. The famous 24-10 win by Denver, when it was carrying a pretty much old and washed up Peyton Manning behind a legendary pass rush, in my opinion, with Von Miller and the great Cowboy and DeMarcus Ware, where they literally shut out and probably was one of the most boring Super Bowls. it was an ass whooping and everything like that, and so on so forth. What I'm trying to point is, and what I'm trying to correlate to y'all is, look, man, we cannot become football brain dead in terms of getting what we need to want on our team, in terms of building this team with these rhetorics and everything like that. Charles Haley was the final piece of the Dallas Cowboys because it got them. I'm gonna let y'all know they had a stout defense before Charles Haley, but what unlocked their lethality is that constant pressure that they had. So it may be the same thing. Going on to number 3 on the formula that the 90s teams did, the steady run game. It's mighty funny, bro. All the rhetorics that get passed around today, how edges don't matter. And here's number 3, running backs don't matter. You know what's the beautiful thing about me watching all those games that I watch in the 90s? When I sat down and, I sat down and I watched, you know what I'm saying, the game, the Dallas Cowboys game, the legendary game they had versus Marty Schottenheimer, in that Thanksgiving game, the 94 game they had versus the Steelers in week 1, the 98 Cardinals games, the 94 Brown games was Bill Belichick first game that I watched, Super Bowl 27, the 1992 NFC Championship. I was so happy to watch an era that really gave a fuck about the running back position. It was just so many talented running backs in the 90s and 2000 eras. And I'm just looking back to it right now. And I'm watching the NFC Championship game, Ricky Waters going crazy, Barry Sanders, you know what I'm saying, Thurman Thomas, all these greats I'm watching. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just sitting back and watching just great running back play. Just solid running back play. And I'm looking back, and with the Dallas Cowboys, they had that. They had the statistical GOAT in terms of running backs in Emmitt Smith, who was a steady engine, who brought power when he needed to bring power, who got behind that offensive line, who was a threat in the passing game when Troy Aikman was getting a little bit out of his mocks. Like, it was a literal game that we marched down a field with straight check downs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when Troy Aikman was getting a little rattled, we marched down the field with straight checkdowns to Emmitt Smith. 70 yards. 70 yards. Matter of fact, it was in that 94 NFC Championship game. Straight checkdowns. It was so great watching an era that carried by the running back. And then to fast forward to now, to think that we had a spear, a new spear, who was literally co-signing the devaluing in probably the most important position the Dallas Cowboys had in that dynasty, the most important position. I'm going to say that. Emmitt I'm not gonna say way. Emmitt was more important than playmaker. Emmitt meant more to this team than playmaker. Playmaker was a hell of, hey, Michael Irvin did his thing. And Troy Aikman and all them hospital balls he kept throwing him. Because he kept throwing, he was giving Michael Irvin all them hospital balls. Alvin Harper, he came with his big catches and everything like that. But I'm telling you right now, what was the bloodline behind us and what made us go was Emmitt. It was Emmitt. And them guys up front. Stepnoski, Larry Allen, Nate Newton, Eric Williams, and Mark Tunney. That's who was going against Bruce Smith. Mark Tunney. Locked them up. It was them. And I'm fast forwarding it to today because this is very important. Because your current head coach and his dad actually had a very similar game plan. Oh yes, Bob. 1000%. Emmitt was way more important than Aikman. That was my whole point of making this entire show. The comparison in terms of I just got through watching all these games, man. Let me tell you the one thing. Aikman's greatest skill was knowing when, and the one thing he does way more than that is knowing when to trust his teammates and knowing when to hand the reins off. Because honestly, you coming in, everybody coming in. The reason why is because in terms of just talent level compared to the rest of the league, Aikman was not the elite of the elite. Matter of fact, I will argue he was probably number 10 behind Jim Kelly and Warren Moon. Just being honest with you. He was a very good game manager in what we needed. But when it was comparing him to Joe Montana, yeah, I'm not going to do that. You ain't going to see me fight that. Or Steve Young, Elway. I forgot Dan Marino, but that's not really, this is mainly the 80s and 90s era of quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, like that. I'm not going to touch that argument. Because the reason why I'm doing all of this and what Boss said is very important, because it did, like, we won 3 rings and Dak is killing Aikman in every statistical category. If you put Dak in them 90s teams, you might get another ring. Aikman had leadership. Aikman had the mentality. Aikman was, he knew when the cool was headed, but the lifeline and what made us go was 22. And it's not close. I promise you, we'll get to Twitch one day, Patreon, and we're gonna sit here and we're gonna take an entire week, 3 hours each. We're gonna watch the games I watch. Because I watch all these full games. I'm just sitting there, you know what I'm saying? It'd be times where Aikman actually threw the interception. You know what I'm saying? Crucial interception in the end zone. You know who had they back? And why they weren't rattled? These names up here, they didn't give a fuck If Aikman threw a damn interception, Larry Brown, Kenny Norton, Kevin Smith, Darren Smith, they like, oh, we finna go get that ball right back. Right back. Right back. We finna go get the ball right back. And when we get the ball right back, listen here, and Aikman already knew. Hey man, you getting a little beside yourself. Hand that ball off real quick. Let me I need you to get behind 22. And let me tell you who I'm saying 22 was a lifeline. You know who's a lifeline this entire team? Them guys up front, but I want to take the time and highlight. I want to highlight number 84 and number 48. I don't have 48 up here, but Daryl Johnston and Jay Novacek, boy, them motherfuckers was out there killing shit. That's the one thing I can say for myself. They was out there knocking people block off in terms of blocking. They were knocking MFers block off. And Novacek was a dual threat. He'll get into the flats. He'll run his little crosser as well, and was bringing the pain. But when they get in that offset I and that I formation, oh, it was raps. It was raps. Compared to what they was had in Larry Allen, Stepnaski, Newton, and Eric Williams and Tuane, it was raps. That's why whenever you hear it's amazing to me. I wasn't in the era. Every time, you know what's the word I keep hearing when I hear about other great players in that era or that played against the Cowboys? The one thing they kept saying is that team was physical. They kept saying they were coming in there to really bully your ass. Like they were coming to literally bring it to you. I'm gonna tell you right now, they probably were circling Jay Novacek and Moose, because they were absolutely wrecking shit and loaded boxes too. Loaded boxes too. And whenever they load up in them boxes, I'm gonna tell you right now what was Aikman's best ball. Whenever they load up in boxes, because we'll have the numbers, we have them all plus or minus into the box or plus into the box. The moment they rotate one of them safeties down, and we actually had 88 1-on-1, quick slant on the money. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Hey, Troy Aikman, if I met you, boy, you know how to throw a quick slant. You were throwing it because I'm gonna tell you right now, 88 wasn't getting no separation. He got enough. But Aikman was putting it right there on his body. On that skinny post, or a slant, or in breaker, all hospital balls. We're gonna label them as all hospital balls. Because I'm telling you that right now. The safety was right there to kill Irvin every time. That's the one thing Aikman probably throw way better than Dak. Dak ain't got a hospital ball. And honestly, you're gonna need them hospital balls too, to throw it right there on the money on the slant. I think Dak throws slants better when like right now, he can throw a real good one because CeeDee Lamb is a gifted route runner. You know what I'm saying? Or to GP, because the one thing, see, GP and Alvin Harper, they got similar skills. Alvin Harper was a big play receiver. He'll dunk. That was actually one of his celebrations, was dunking the ball, because he was dunking on them cornerbacks and safeties. But the one thing that GP has with Alvin Harper is that he can work underneath and have some yak to his game. So that slant that he be throwing to GP, it be open because of the threat of GP over the top. Y'all get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But Aikman can throw more of them tight window hospital ball. That's the only ball I'm giving him. When a sluggo, a slant, or a fade, it'll be sometimes he'll get it there, but he didn't do it enough for me to be like, I think that was the main separator between him and like a Montana. Aikman, I think that was my greatest knock to Aikman. Aikman didn't have touch on his balls. And he knew that. And it's going back to what we need, you know what I'm saying, up front and everything like that. Like, the running game was the heart and soul of this offensive line. I mean, of this entire team. Whenever shit got too muddy, in every game, I saw it every time. Jimmy Johnson handed that ball to 22. Every time. Even when 22 fumble a little bit, we finna go right back in the game and we finna hand it right back to his ass. Cause he was like all reliable for a running back. He wasn't gonna shake you out your boots like a Barry Sanders would, you know what I'm saying? But he gonna hit the hole correctly. He gonna go in. He gonna get to the next level. He's gonna tort his body enough to break the tackle because you ain't gonna be able to square him up. I heard DMV say that one day. Like you couldn't really square up Emmett because he was actually bigger than what he seemed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, out there, but he's faster than what he seemed too. So he gonna get to the edge. And his vision was just, Emmett probably had some of the best vision I've ever seen from a running back. I'm gonna be honest with you. Emmett probably had some of the best vision I've ever seen from a running back. Number 4. So do we have the run game? I'm gonna say we are 80% of it. We don't have an Emmett. So and Shotty is saying the same thing he's saying right now. When you don't have that workhorse, you got to build up a stable so we can be able to hit them as many times as an Emmett could. See, if we had Emmett, it wouldn't be no need for a Blue. It wouldn't be no need for a Maffa. We finna get the ball 40 times to him, and he's going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be fine because he's built forward. A lot of running backs nowadays are not built like that. That old workhorse back. That's what's lost. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I think we're 80% there. If we get a good little running back too, if Maffa can fill in that gap, we can, I don't want to say we can mimic what 22 had, but that plus what I'm finna get into with number 4, in terms of offensive line. Okay, we talking about something right here. Number 4, the offensive line. I know y'all hate when the Dallas Cowboys do it over and over again of constantly investing to up front. What I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to win championships, I know we always talk in idioms and we talk in sayings and poems and haikus and shit like that. Like that the game is won up front. I'm gonna tell you right now, if them guys up front don't handle their business, none of this shit works. Because like what Boss was saying, like Aikman had flaws. Your engine is Emmett. And what can take the top off is on your outsides in a Harper and Irvin. But none of this shit don't turn on. The car don't turn on without you taking care of Bruce Smith in the Super Bowl 27. None of that shit happens unless you take care of his ass. He may have had 14 and a half sacks, but he ain't finna get shit today. He ain't getting shit today. You might have gangster D tackles, Steelers, Niners. You might be gangster, but you're finna get mauled today. Today you will. So we gotta make way for 22. Because at the end of the day, Aikman is not a gunslinger. He is not somebody. You'll never, in them 90s eras, you'll probably never say, oh, we finna get on Aikman back. It was never on Aikman's back. You know what I'm saying? We ain't, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta do what we gotta do because they're gonna try to come after us, load the box up. Because the best thing you could do to the Cowboys was load the blocks up and blitz us. Because you had the gangsters run game in Emmett, and you had weapons on the outside. That was the best thing you could do. So the people who have the most important job out of anything was the Great Wall that we had. The wall. That was the steady Eddie of this entire thing. As long as that wall was built, our chances of winning was always there. Your head coach is emphasizing the same thing. If Jimmy was here, he would tell you, we only went as far as that our O-line did. If that O-line had any leaks in it, the dynasty crumbles. Number 5, probably the most important thing. I've been saying all this is most important, but it's probably the one thing that is the difference between us today and the us of the 90s. I'm gonna tell you that right now. The one thing I saw is how in tune, and y'all said it, that we were a team last year. Whenever shit hit the fan, and I said I put up here, everyone was a playmaker. That implied to the special teams too. They would kill us out there, bro. You couldn't if you were playing Dallas in the 90s, you couldn't let up. You couldn't sleep at any point because there was gonna be somebody coming to hit your ass and start and possibly get a fumble. They did not stop. You thought it stopped once we got on defense? Dog, we may punt the ball. Okay, we get the 3 and out. The Gunners are coming to kill your ass too. You know what I'm saying? The long snapper are coming to kill your ass too. I never forget. Like, I'm watching it, bro. Watching the game was a which game? I think it was a game where I was watching versus the Cardinals. We were turning the ball over. We were looking out of whack and everything like that. All of a sudden, I think it was Kevin Smith. Not Kevin Smith. It was Darren Smith on a kickoff. Bow! Knock somebody out on the kickoff. Force a fumble. Right there. Talking about the ball it's just bouncing. It's just bouncing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said, "Tavares, you cussing, you watching." Hey, I appreciate the heads up, but look, if you know who I got my cussing from, you understand why she ain't saying nothing. But I'll get what you said. You know what I'm saying? She know I'm talking about this football, and when you watching these Cowboys, they brought it out of you. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Grant, yeah, bro. Hey, they were coming to tag you. It's like they had that look in their eye, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, we losing momentum right here. Special teams looking over there like, okay, I got you. No fear. All right, we got you. They coming down, and I'm talking about. People thought when I'm talking about special teams, I'm talking about the kicking and the punting. Like, you know, they did their job. You know what I'm saying? We had some great kick. I'm talking about everybody else on the special teams. I'm talking about the gunner. I'm talking about you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like on kickoff. I'm talking about kick return. They coming to get them blocks. You know what I'm saying? It was everybody felt they could contribute, and they felt like they can be a playmaker at any point. All the role players, at any point, somebody can take over the game. I'll never forget. I don't know if it was Washington, and I keep saying this. It was one of them cornerbacks in that NFC Championship game. Got 2 picks. Got 2 picks on my guy. What's his name? I be blanking on that quarterback name every time. I'm glad I got him in the Western name. Steve Young. Picked him up twice. I'm glad I got him in there so I can remember his name. They picked him up twice. In that game, we set the record, and we got 8 fumbles in that game. I promise you. Special teams had about 2 or 3 of them. They did not stop. So when I say that's a pillar, that's a pillar. And then, of course, most of all, was the coaching. Jimmy Johnson. That is not Jimmy Johnson, but look, AI did the best they could. Them teams back in the day, they played for each other. Matter of fact, Jimmy Johnson, you can tell that he literally had them playing for the heart of Dallas. Like, they were so in tune, so cohesive on all 5 sides or all 3 sides of the ball. I think too much nowadays, as fans, we care about the X's and O's and the motions and, you know, how everything looks, how flashy it looks. Like, I keep telling y'all, the best coaches do the fundamentals great. The best coaches do the fundamentals great. I can tell. I can see videos now how much he was a hard coach and a hard ass on them. But the way they were playing, they were a reflection of him, the accountability that he held on them. He coached hard. Matter of fact, I was gonna say this story for another day, We and Boss can attest to this. We met Kevin Smith at one of the events we was doing with Law. He and Boss can attest to this. Kevin Smith said a thing they used to do before the game that I'll never forget they did. He got in the bus. He put all the players on the bus, right? This man, Jimmy Johnson, took through South Dallas, Oak Cliff. Yes, Boss just said it. South Dallas, Oak Cliff, Dixie Circle, Highland Hills. He took them through all the hoods of Dallas and said, all these people you seeing on your porch, this who you playing for. And Kevin Smith was the one, y'all know, starting cornerback, right there, number 26, right there. That ain't him. But if you look back on Pleasant Grove, go look him up. About West Dino, West Dallas, he got on a bus and he took the players, every player, through the heart of Dallas. Shout out to B-Bird. He said them Dynasty had thermostats. This team has let me read it. Has thermometers. When things go wrong in the playoffs, this team gets tight. The Niners teams, they were never scared. Yes, that's what I just got through. Shout out to DB Bird, man. You just got entered, man, into the rifle. We finna do the first spin in a little bit. They were never. Hey, man, you right, man. I'm telling you, whenever I say that's the biggest thing that happened, man, is that whenever something goes wrong, you want to know what's the difference between the Niners team and the teams of today. When something go wrong, today we be looking at Dak, CD. When Micah was here, Micah, we be looking to the stars like, ooh, give us our next hit so we can go out there and we be out there. Y'all know what's that Michael Jordan movie? When I'm blanking on, I'm going hard right now. I'm blanking on that movie, man. You know, when with the Looney Tunes and everything like that. Y'all remember when the Monstars, they had to get like a little shot of their water in order for them to go out there? That's how I feel like the Dallas Cowboys is today. It seems like we need something tangible to turn us on. Rather than in the 90s, it's like they were turned up to a degree that when something happened, they was like, okay, well, I'm finna be a star right now. I may not be a household name, but at play number 34 in quarter 3, I'm finna knock old dude brains out. And they gonna remember my name. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, see, Boss can attest to this, man. That was the realest thing that Kevin Smith said that. I said, yeah, Jimmy Johnson, one of the real ones. To take all them players, regardless of skin color, to take you through the gutter of Dallas. Because that's honestly, let's be honest, bro. All these places, that's where the real fans are at. You can't forget. If you want to know, Space Jam, appreciate it. If you want to know where the real heart of the fans lie, the one thing that I'm gonna do a little rant right now. The one thing I hate about all these new these organizations, them building these new stadiums, they pricing out the real fans, the fans that'll get wild, you know what I'm saying, and actually will turn up the atmosphere on that. See, Jimmy put that chip on their shoulder so they can have something to play for, you know, everything like that. That's the realest thing you could ever do. And you can tell, you went out there, you can tell when they was going up against San Fran, Buffalo, it's like, nah, we not balling for America's team. We balling for the heart of Dallas. We finna bring this back to the heart of Dallas. And honestly, everybody, I can be attached to it because the amount of players that you can be around Dallas and everybody, if you from Dallas, you got friends in Dallas who grew up in the area, everybody got a story about how they was partying with one player or who, like one of my old teachers said, he would be by what's that college over there? Oh my God, I'm blanking on that college. That's over there. Dang, bro, I cannot think today. I cannot start with a W. Anyways, but he was saying like how he one day he was having like a barbecue, and who did he say pull up? I want to say he said it was Kevin Smith that pulled up, or it was he think it was a receiver pulled up, and they pulled up and they just kicked it. You know what I'm saying? They bought barbecue and everything like that, and they just kicked it on Wiley College. That's where he was. They just kicked it. And you know what I'm saying? It's too many. I hear too many stories like that. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like the Dallas Cowboys today, they probably don't even know what South Dallas look like. Cause Jerry didn't put them all in Frisco. They didn't put up their all big pearly white gates. You know, I shout out to them. They got a free day where you can come out and actually see it and everything like that. But in terms of being in tune for the city, yeah, it's clear they don't do it for the city right now. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully we can get back to it. They say they do, but it's pretty clear that they don't. But shout out to everybody that's coming in here, man. We finna do the raffle and everything like that. So let me see. Let me get it together. Make sure it's ready. Like I said, well, let me one more time, because this is not gonna be the only raffle that we do. Right there. And this is not gonna be the only raffle we do. This is gonna be one of 9 and everything like that. But without further ado, let's spin it, man. All right. Kind of far away, but hey, I think y'all can see that. I think y'all can. So I appreciate, like I said, this is spinning all the entries that we got. It was 53 entries. Shout out to everybody who supported, man. Yeah, Cash App, Super Chats, and everything like that. So yeah, we got it online. So let's spin for the winner. All right, and the first winner, of course, is Angie. Angie, if she in here, make sure to DM me. I think I got her information and everything like that. And I'm gonna tell Angie to post it so she can tell y'all which one she got, which card she got. But shout out to Angie and everything like that. We gonna do 8 more. Like I said, and the best way, I posted on all my social medias and everything like that. Make sure y'all follow me on all the social medias. It's all right here. One of these cards, you know what I'm saying, ranging all the way from $25 prizes, $50 prizes, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm telling you, hey, look, but I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let y'all show what you got. I don't, you know what I'm saying, when you got, but it's all giving back. She said, man, Angie always wins. Shit, Angie the one give. Hey, look, bro, hey, man, you want to increase your chances? She says, like, Angie be, hey, man. You know what I'm saying? You know? I know Angie be sitting there, Brad. She be showing love, man. Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the NBA lottery, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you tank, you increase your chances. Dog, if you got like 27 balls in the queue, shoot, of course they're gonna pull yours out when it's time for the number 1 overall pick, man. But like I said, this is not the only one we're gonna do. It's going, that's 1 down. We're gonna do 8 more. 8 more. So, you know what I'm saying? It can be you next. Or tell Angie to send something. I know Angie's for, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's all good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody, you know, for watching the show and everything like that. I had to do this just to recap it. Basically what I'm saying is this. The Dallas Cowboys, this is why we've been so serious about like adding a little bit more to this team, because like we're so close. When you even look at our predecessors, you know, the great years with that and the formula of what worked. But and with that, the one thing I did want to shut down with it, because it was so important, probably the most important lesson I wanted to show was like, I wanted to kill the narrative. Like a lot of people be saying like, oh, well, Dak Prescott is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Maybe another show I'll show y'all and I'll piss y'all off like it pisses me off of seeing this previous playoffs, just being honest with you, and the amount of like let me see if I can pull up one. NFL playoff games. 2026. You know what I'm saying? Like, where is it at? Right here. Let me see. Is that it? Let me see. Yeah, y'all need to pull up that one right quick. Let me. I'm gonna pull up one game for y'all, man, because I want to show y'all, because on why we be so important, you know, kill all that narrative everybody be saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Lou, are we good enough, man? Look, bro. Hold on. And I do mean this when I say this. Look, man. You want to know how? But I'll never let them say Dak ain't never good enough. I still go to school in Houston, and it's a ton of Houston Texan fans. CJ Stroud threw 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. And I think. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to go to when it happened. If one of those interceptions that he took a sack, they said they could have won the game. They lost the game by 12. 12, man. And it was even closer than that. Y'all, if y'all look, man, let me see. Let me find another game for y'all. For all the people who understand, like, what I'm trying to say with this, like, where that, bro? Like, can't find it. Bears and Rams. The Bears almost went to the championship game, bro. Like, when I say that, when people over here and always want to bring up the quarterback play in the playoffs and it translating to wins, I'm going to forever, and I do mean forever, reference this past year. 2025 was some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen in the playoffs. I was not impressed with anybody in that playoffs. Football is team oriented, as the greatest team sport in the entire league. You have enough at the head man position and more. Hell, you had worse than the great years with Aikman. Just being honest with you. The whole thing I wanted to, the main reason why I wanted you to take away from this show is that it was not the guys that made them teams, it was the team that made them teams. The teams around the main guys, the head man at the helm. And if the Cowboys want to even get back to those glory days, they got to start there. You can't say that Dak needs to save us because you pay him $60 million. That doesn't make any sense. Respectfully. It doesn't make any sense. Just because you paid a man the market value does not give it the reason why that Dak needs to win more or less, as you quote. So, can the Dallas Cowboys do it? We'll see. I'm out.